Amrutanubhav, the experience of divine nectar. This book was composed in the 13th century by Saint Shri Dnyaneshwar. In Maharashtra, Shri Dnyaneshwar is called Dnyandev or Dnyanubha Mauli. He is considered supreme among saints by the people of Maharashtra. He composed many texts and abhangas based on the Advaita principle. Amrutanubhav is one of them. He composed this book on the order of his elder brother and guru, Shri Nivruttinath. Another famous book that he composed is Dnyaneshwari, which is based on the Bhagavad Gita. But Amrutanubhav is an independent work of Shri Dnyandev. It is his own spiritual experience. It is composed in the then spoken Marathi language. There are a total of 806 verses which are divided into 10 chapters. The book begins with Guru Vandana. These are 5 Sanskrit verses about the worship of Shri Guru Nivruttinath and Shiva Shakti. In this Guru Vandana, Shri Dnyaneshwar says, "My Sadguru Shriman Nivruttinath is formless, blissful, eternal, without any beginning, and imperishable. I am in his divine shelter. The best and most blissful knowledge among all the disciplines is Shankari Vidya, the knowledge of Shankar or Shiva, which is very kind and joy-giving. All hail this knowledge. Salutations to it." In the form of Shiva Shakti, despite they being non-dual, that is Advaita, there is a sense of duality or Dvaita. It is impossible to understand which half is Shiva and which half is Shakti. Shiva and Shakti are the origin of the world, who reveal the basic principle of Atma or spirit, which is Advaita. I bow to the primordial parents to acquire their Tattva or essence. The beginning, existence and destruction of the cosmic cycle is Shri Shambhu. Where there is an end to these three, there is completeness. Salutations to such a complete, eternal Shambhu. The first chapter is the oneness of Shiva and his power called as Shakti. This is the praise of Shiva Shakti. In this, the Advaita form of Shiva Shakti has been described. Shri Dnyandev says, "I bow to Shiva Shakti, the titleless parents of this universe, who are the origin of the world, the one who is the husband and also the wife, who willfully keeps on changing while remaining the same. In the impulse of love, they get absorbed into each other. Then the duality does not remain. But for the sake of the same love, they then get expressed as separate entities. Both are neither one nor two. But love cannot be expressed if they are not two. That is why, even though they are non-dual, they create the impression of duality." How to know their true form? They are so fond of the bliss of the self that even though they are two, they become one. They do not let their unity get disturbed, even playfully. They are so afraid of separation that even though they have created a child as big as the universe, they do not allow their duality to be disturbed. They look at the living and non-living world in their own forms, but do not allow any third object to touch them. They both have the same authorities. They are adorned with the same ornament of light. They are immersed in unity since time immemorial. Discrimination itself went out in search of duality, but found itself embarrassed and submerged in their non-duality. Shakti is complete because of Shiva, and there is no Shiva without Shakti. How to describe their oneness? They are each other's lives. Both are so vast that they do not fit in this world. Yet, they are situated in every atom as well. Without each other, they do not even create a blade of grass. In this universe, which is like a family, only two exist, Shiva and Shakti. When Shiva sleeps, then his mistress Shakti does the work of both. Shakti is awake even when she is asleep. The world is the creation of Shakti, which is like a dream that Shiva watches. If Shiva wakes up from his sleep, the dream ends, and so does the world. And likewise, if Shakti stops creating, then too the dream ends and Shiva wakes up. Shiva Shakti both lose their two-ness. Only for the sake of Leela, the cosmic play, they appear half and half and show us their dual nature. Therefore, the difference in their genders is just for namesake. It is only Shiva principle that exists in the whole world. Like two sticks produce one musical note, two flowers emit one fragrance, two lamps radiate one light, two lips produce one sentence. Similarly, even though Shiva Shakti are two, they created one world. In this way, even though they seem to be two, they have been enjoying the same pleasure since time immemorial. Shakti can do nothing without the Lord, even though she is chaste and devoted. And Shiva, being the all-doer, cannot do anything without Shakti. It is difficult to identify who is Shiva and who is Shakti. We do not understand their nature. It is like jaggery and its sweetness, camphor and its aroma. One who tries to separate them fails to do so and becomes disabled. If you try to engulf all the light of the lamp, then you find the lamp itself in your hand. In the same way, if you try to acquire Shakti, you will meet Shiva. The beauty of the sun is its luster, and the source of this luster is the sun. In the same way, Shiva Shakti shine beautifully without any differences. The object can be inferred from its reflection. In the same way, the non-dual can be understood from duality. The essence of complete void or nothingness was given the form of a man called Shiva by Shakti. Shakti is powerful because of the authorities that lie with Shiva. Shakti gets her existence from Shiva, but Shakti is also the life force of Shiva who was created by Shiva himself. In the creation, Shakti is the affluence of Shiva. She takes up all the responsibilities of Shiva. Blushing at her formless husband, she adorned herself gracefully by wearing the worldly names and forms as her jewelry. Where there was scarcity of oneness, there she made everything auspicious with her divine play. She worked hard and exalted her husband in the world, while her husband stayed back and brought her fame. To witness this, Shiva becomes a seer. When his wife is not seen, he becomes an ascetic. It is through Shakti that Shiva becomes omnipresent. In her absence, Shiva becomes powerless. Even though Shiva is omnipresent, he remains dormant. It is only due to Shakti that he takes the form of this world. By creating the world and conducting the Leela, Shakti actually prepares food for Shiva. Shiva consumes this food through his consciousness, by witnessing it, and becomes satisfied. When Shiva is in a state of sleep, then Shakti creates the living and the non-living. Shakti created this world, which is like her child, without the assistance of Shiva. This is how she destroyed the husbandhood of Shiva. That is why the child, which is this world, does not recognize its father. To it, the father appears non-existent. And so Shakti plays the role of both the father and the mother. Even though Shiva is the enjoyer, he cannot enjoy without Shakti, because Shakti is the body of Shiva, while Shiva is the essence of Shakti. They both become one and enjoy the forms of each other. Just as wind and its speed, gold and its brilliance are one, similarly Shiva and Shakti are one and all-pervading. Shakti is an undetachable part of Shiva, just like musk and its fragrance, fire and its heat. Night and day disappear as soon as they approach the sun. Similarly, duality disappears when it approaches Shiva Shakti. Shiva Shakti are beyond even the Pranav letter Om from which the world was created. This world, made up of names and forms, looks united after eating the delicacy of duality. Dnyaneshwar bows to this great couple of Shiva Shakti. While attempting to describe their form, power of speech itself was stunned. When everything is submerged at the time of the great flood, the Ganges and the ocean do not remain separate. At the time of the end of the world, the wind becomes one with its speed and merges with the sky. In bright light, the sun is not visible. Similarly, as soon as a seer sees Shiva Shakti, the vision and the seer both cease to exist as they become one. I bow to Shiva Shakti, who are present everywhere, inside and outside. They are a stream of knowledge, whose water cannot be drunk unless the drinker himself does not enter the stream. While bowing down to this inseparable Shiva Shakti, if I remain separate, then I would have displayed duality. Ornaments are not made by separating oneself from gold. In the same way, I do not worship them while staying separate from them. When the tongue pronounces the word tongue, what difference lies between the tongue and the word tongue? When the waters of Ganges and the ocean meet each other, they mix and the gender difference between them vanishes. How can the duality of these waters exist anymore? If the sun presents itself as the light and as the illuminator, can its oneness be hindered? When moonlight spreads on the moon does not become darker. Is another lamp needed to find its light? When the pearl's effulgence spreads on the pearl does not get covered. Instead, it looks even more purer. Is Pranava, the Om, divided into 3 pieces because it has 3 parts, A, U and Ma? If beauty can be experienced without violating oneness, then when the wind blows, why not enjoy the fragrance of the flowers flowing with the ripples in the water? Therefore, I am going to bow to Shiva Shakti, not considering them as two. When the mirror is taken away, the reflection gets absorbed into the original object. The ripples get absorbed into the water when the wind stops blowing. Just as we become aware of ourselves when we wake up from sleep, in the same way, I have given up my intellect and worshipped Shiva Shakti. When the salt gives up its greed of saltiness, it becomes one with the ocean. In the same way, I have given up my ego and merged in Shambhu Shambhavi. Just as uncovering the stem of a banana tree causes the air within it to become one with the sky, similarly I have become one with Shiva Shakti and worshipped them. The first chapter is complete.